Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. Once again, we got a little music to start us out. And as you can see, something seems to be missing. My co-host, Bailey Jackson, is experiencing some technical difficulties. However, I started this podcast flying solo anyway. And I went back and listened to that podcast about 6 or 8 weeks after I started. And it is really, really, really worse than any other podcast once Bailey joined the podcast. So we're hoping he can get on here as soon as possible and join us. I really think that will happen. But real quick, I hope everyone is having a great day. We are excited to be back. And we're excited to be part of the Fanboys, Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys, Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com. And all my toys that I learned about last week, look at there. This is, and I got some more. I got some more toys on this thing coming during this show. So thefanboys.com. Check them out. Also find the Fanboys at most all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The Fun Fans is the official podcast for Clemson fans. All right, here we go. Welcome. And see, it's typical. I'm going to unmute, but maybe I had him. You're muted, Bailey.
All right. You good now?
I'm good. I got you, man. Welcome. It's so great to have you here because I was just telling everyone how it's 10 times, if not 100 times better when you're on here with me.
Well, computer's been working great all day and just had to completely shut down and restart. So here I am.
That's isn't that how it is? So we were just getting started with our intros anyway, talking about thefanboys.com. You can also scroll to the bottom of that webpage, thefanboys.com, and help support our troops. The Fanboys, Fangirls, along with Winning Edge Sports Network, are supporters of Homes for Our Troops. So you can go to thefanboys.com, scroll down, and see how you can help us help build homes and rebuild lives for the troops. So we love that, and we love Reuben's. Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around, with 2 locations in the upstate, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont, South Carolina. Find them at RubensC.com. It's simply a great place to eat for all sports fans. So, Bailey, I had a guest lined up, and you won't believe what happened. You won't believe who it was going to be.
Well, I think I will because I read the script. What happened?
Well, did I put it on the script? It was going to be a surprise for all. But I had the Chinese spy balloon was lined up. I mean, just been floating around all week, chilling, and had the Chinese spy balloon lined up to be on the vodcast here on this special episode of Fun Fans. But you know, all the fans, everyone knows what happened. Get South Carolina, gets to Myrtle Beach.
It must have been from Ohio because it went straight to Myrtle Beach.
Straight to Myrtle. That's right. Yep. It may not have been a Chinese spy balloon. It was just another.
Well, I did a little research on that too, James.
Okay, let's hear it.
You know, this is not the first Chinese spy balloon, and it probably won't be the last. But my question is, why did we let it float across the country? I realize that there are people. We didn't want to dam it. We didn't know what was going to happen if we shot it down. It was in Montana. Okay, there's not a ton of the per capita or the per person per mile is not great in Montana. So I think that would be a great place to take care of it.
It could have been, big sky, big forest. But, if we dove into that too deep, this would go from a fun, sports-oriented podcast to maybe a little bit political. So just kind of point out to the fans why we don't have a guest on. Guest went to Myrtle Beach and just got done in.
Hey,
been there.
What happens in Myrtle Beach stays in Myrtle Beach. I can tell you this, that the Chinese said it was an accident.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure
they did.
I'm sure it was. So we'll just jump straight into, thank goodness Bailey's here, Bailey's basketball update. What do you got, B?
Oh man,
Yeah,
tough week.
not a good week
Tough,
for the Tigers.
tough week for the Tigers. Had some trouble shooting it Tuesday night. For whatever reason, I always struggle against Boston College. Earl Grant was an assistant at Clemson for several years, and at Winthrop here in Rock Hill near my house. But so you figure it's hard to win on the road in the ACC, and then yesterday I thought Miami hit some really, really tough shots. Clemson didn't play its best, but I really think Miami's a team that would be very difficult to defend, especially when they're hitting shot. I mean, they were hitting late shot clock shots with guys' hands in their face, and give them credit, they made them. So, it's not the end of the world. Clemson's still in first, but it doesn't get much easier. I have my notes here somewhere if I can find them, but they still have to play at Virginia, at North Carolina, where, and you all know, or you should know, Clemson's won one time ever at Chapel Hill, and that's next Saturday. That's their next game. So, it is what it is. They're still 10-3 in the ACC. They have lost 2 in a row, but
that's where I was.
It's still there for the taking.
Well, that was my question. Is it too early to start worrying about, where they're going to line up in the ACC tournament, who they may play? I know it used to be, we hope we get paired up with somebody we can beat, but now, we're looking at, are we still looking at number 1 seed? Is number 2 seed okay?
Well, you just want to be one of the top 4 seeds because they get a double bye in the tournament.
Okay.
The tournament starts on Tuesday, and the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds don't play until Thursday. So you only have to win 3 games at that point. Now, obviously, if you if you finish 4th, more than likely you're going to play a better team in your opening game. If you finish first, you're going to play the team that's made it through. The lower seeds would end up playing the 1 seed. But look, they play. So if they finish tie with Miami, they lose the tiebreaker. All right.
Okay.
They still have to go to Virginia. That's a 1-game deal with Virginia. So the winner of that's going to have a tiebreaker. Same thing with North Carolina. And so I wrote down probably 6 teams that still had a chance, I would say, to finish first. Clemson, I would say Virginia, Pittsburgh, and see, we have a tiebreaker. Clemson has a tiebreaker over Pittsburgh, and they're actually tied in the loss column, but Clemson's played an extra game. State's 9-4, Miami's 9-4, Duke's 8-4. Okay, so you hold the tiebreaker over Duke too. So there's a lot of basketball left. There's still 8 games. Clemson has 7. Most teams have 8. So it's still a long way to go.
Very good, and that will be exciting to go up to Chapel Hill. Hopefully, we will get that first win ever.
Second,
yeah.
The first one was in I think 3 years ago, 2020.
We got to keep adding to that.
Actually, the only.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
right.
all time against North Carolina. There's only one team in ACC Clemson's played more in basketball. They played Wake 147 times. They played North Carolina 144 times, and they are 22 and 122 all time.
Wow.
So it will be tough, but then got some winnable games down the stretch, and all the experts are saying they're going to go 4-3 the rest of the way. And 14-6 is not terrible in the ACC.
Right. That's right. And that record of North Carolina has been a powerhouse for the majority of those years as well. So
correct.
Speaking of basketball, I mentioned all my new little gadgets and toys. I have created the worst commercial ever. Let's see how it goes.
Blazer gear right now. We got some swag we're giving away. We've got the bucket hat as well as
Yeah, so that's J-Do. We had J-Do on the
in
bike.
action
At the school Friday night. MC, entertainer, entrepreneur, pep rallies, basketball games. You just put that man on the mic and liven up the party. So J-Do's a friend of mine. I've seen him work. I tried to make a commercial, and it was really bad. He said maybe he'll send me something better. But you will not be disappointed anytime you add JDo to your function. You can find him at itsjdo.com and at itsjdo on all forms of social media. So speaking of, we've read this, we talked about this since we started the podcast, galas, fundraisers, etc. I have a huge announcement. At least I think it's a huge announcement.
Yep.
This Thursday night.
Make your announcement, and then I did some research on this too.
This Thursday night, I am attending. Okay, it's not really a gala, but a coworker that has been to this event before was referring to it as a gala. So, I mean, officially it's listed as a celebration with the Greater Greer Area Chamber celebrating something, but she was calling it a gala, so I'm going to say it's a gala. So, going to a gala Thursday night. JDo was there last year, so
you have to dress nice.
Well, yes. It doesn't have to be like formal nice, but it can't be not nice. So yes.
So you got to dress it up a little bit. So according to Google,
okay,
all right, a ball is something that has dancing, and a gala is something that in most times raises money for something. A nonprofit would have a gala to raise money for a scholarship or something like that. But so that's a quick Google search for those of you who are interested. Shout out to Google.
Well, maybe it is a gala because you had to pay for a table, and it's one of those.
Right. It is. They're raising money for something.
They're raising money for something. So hey, it's a gala. We're going to go with that.
Then it says you need to wear a black tie. Okay.
No.
Just letting you know.
That's according to the pictures I saw, I can get away with no tie. But the thing is, I'll be back. We come back next week, and I'll be able to talk about the gala. So that'd be awesome. Another cool announcement is we'd like to congratulate our friend and former Fun Fan guest, Woody Dantzler, on being named to the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023. So that's really cool. Congratulations to Woody there. And
have there ever been any podcasters in the Hall of Fame?
Not yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Goals, baby.
It can happen. It can.
Way to go, Woody Dantzler.
Good job, Woody. Put a little word in for the Fun Fans here. Your buddies James and Bailey. So other exciting news that I really, really want to talk about here, and definitely has to do with Clemson football and a new toy all at the same time. And Bailey, we can link. So you're in the screen still. Look at there. Recently released the 2023 Clemson football schedule. Now, one question, why is the November 11th outlined in that purple or blue? I have no idea.
Because it's Military Appreciation Day.
Okay. See, my research guy right there, earning this money. So, and the other ones outlined in orange are home games, the white with the orange letters for the dates are the away games. So we kick off the season at Duke on Labor Day, another primetime Labor Day game, ACC. This past year was at Georgia Tech. So what do you think? What's your first impression overall, Bailey, about the schedule?
I honestly, when I looked at it, I thought that the September 23rd through November 4th was a pretty tough stretch. And I really, honestly, I believe in a conspiracy to keep Clemson from winning. They've done that. Now, I doubt it's like that, but that's what I'm going with. So let's back up and let's talk about Duke's promo for the first game of the year. Have you seen it?
I have. It
is a jab at Dabo and the way he runs out on the field.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's witty. You got to be smart to get into Duke. So they got some brains up there.
You think Duke? Do you really want to poke the bear, Duke? Is my question.
Well, I mean, are they? That's their number one game. That's going to be probably better than the game they put on the field.
Well, they weren't much improved this year, and I'm sure that they'll hype that up. And when the big boys come to town on Labor Day, that's probably an ACC network game. I don't think that's a national TV game, so to speak. But and then 5 days later, you play Charleston Southern, Florida Atlantic, and then the Noles are ranked, and I have the way too early top 25 with me tonight. All right, this is This is courtesy of ESPN, so I didn't do this. The Noles are ranked 4th preseason in the country. Do you know who was ranked 4th this year?
Wait a minute, 4th out of all the teams in the country?
All the teams.
Wow.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like
Wow.
Georgia, OSU, Michigan, Florida State. Who was ranked 4th this year preseason?
Oh, I'm going to say the Tigers.
Texas A&M.
Oh, the curse.
That is not the spot you want to be in.
The curse of the 4th.
And the Tigers come in at 15 overall in the way too early preseason.
That'll work. And those rankings are based on folks' impression of it used to be players coming back, but now it's players coming back, the new recruits, which include, NIL or transfers rather. So, and supposedly Florida State has really filled up the transfer portal. They made use of that. So they've got a lot of talent. That will be the meat of the schedule, without a doubt, is definitely, as you pointed out, the September 23rd to November 4th.
Those 6 in the middle are really those are all teams that Clemson, for whatever reason, always struggle with Syracuse, at Syracuse and at home, really.
Yep.
Wake Forest is always tight. And then at NC State, I would not wish that trip on somebody who, can you go to prison or you go to NC State? I'm going to prison for a little bit. I'm never going back to a game there.
Heard that. And then, hosting Notre Dame at home. And really, to end the season, you got to give the 2 Carolinas credit. North Carolina was our opponent in the championship game, so they're primed to be a good team. And South Carolina, it'll be a revenge game for us. They got the dub this past year, so no matter what we think about them or how they may or may not be improving or catching up or this, that, and the other, they caught up this past year, so it's our job to catch back up with them this coming year. So definitely going to end on a strong note, or going to have to if the Tigers are going to finish
a
championship
couple notes
caliber.
on that. A couple notes on that. Tommy Rees just left Notre Dame to go to Alabama. So he's the new offensive coordinator at Alabama. And people say, why would he do that? And I can think of probably money and also a chance to see if he can call plays in the best conference in the country.
Right.
And then the Gamecocks had 3 guys arrested this week. And kids make mistakes. I know they'll handle it. But so there's a little bit of, that's just a little bit of controversy down there. Not much. But anyway, I hate the balloon could not be on here tonight because I was really looking forward to talking to him.
Well, the balloon probably those Gamecock players may have been at Myrtle Beach as well, but or could have just been at 5 Points. So who knows? A lesson for all of us to be careful at Myrtle and 5 Points. So what stood out to me once I looked at this schedule, and this podcast, like we've said, we've talked about the football part. There are going to be tough games to us, and it's a cupcake schedule to folks outside of our conference, whatever. But when I saw this, there are 3 home games in a row twice.
That's tough.
Tailgating is it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But 3 weekends in a row twice is going to be it's not made for boys. It's going to separate the men from the boys. We're going to see what happens when you're going 3 weeks in a row under that big yellow September sunshine in Death Valley, 3 times in a row, getting up or whatever. So, and then to come back at the end of the season, the weather will be much nicer, hopefully in November, but still to do 3 games in a row. And it really, in all seriousness, it does put a struggle on if you're thinking about your fans. And I know, like you say, the conference or whoever made out the schedule, it wasn't Clemson themselves per se, but that's tough on your season ticket holders. Not everybody lives in Greenville, Spartanburg. We have a lot of fans that come from Columbia, Charleston, Charlotte, Atlanta, and it's not just some short drive. And to do that for 3 weekends in a row is asking a lot. So I'll go ahead and tell you that FAU game, if anybody looking for tickets, and I hate that it's the military appreciation game, but the game stuck in the middle of the three game stretches, you'll be able to get tickets to those games. Those are the games that me and you noticed this past year. That middle game was when the the regulars weren't there. They had sold their parking pass, they had sold their tickets, and they weren't there. So these three game home stretches, it's going to separate the men from the boys. But the other thing is, considering that fact, we need to start a petition for no noon games. Could you imagine if those games are noon? Even 2 out of 3 are noon games.
No, I don't. I mean, here's the thing. Clemson's got to win. Just win. Just win. Just play well and win. You never play at noon if you play really well and you win. All right.
This is true.
But because they always hold that 7-day window, they want the 3:30 slot and the primetime slot to be the big games. So if you're a big time team, you play in those spots. The noon kickoffs stink, especially for somebody like me. I work every one of those Friday nights. I'm going to be at a high school football game somewhere. So I'm going to, the option of going up on Friday does not exist until late in the season.
Well, that's why I can pick up the Rubens and you can just make sure you get there. We will work something out and we will get it done. But I am all about starting a petition for no noon games. It's a no noon game petition. So that's the Clemson 2023 football schedule. And we're excited about the season coming up, regardless of who they're playing, when they're playing, what everybody thinks about what they're playing, because we will be there with bells on. Now, who else has some bells? Diamond Etch Products. I made the worst commercial ever. They could actually take their mastered diamond laser engraving process and probably put it on a bell. But here's a picture of the business card. Okay. Get rid of those old. This may be a worse commercial than the worst commercial.
Trying to look at it.
I had a video, but it was so bad that I just made it into some pictures. But you can get custom engraved business cards from Diamond Etched Products by reaching out to Jalen at diamondetchproducts.com. They can put almost any design on items such as license plates, yard signs, tumblers, water bottles, and more for a high quality, for everlasting custom engraved product, such as product placement. Check out Diamond Etch Products at diamondetchproducts.com. And once again, for inquiries or orders, reach out to Jalen at diamondetchproducts.com. So our question of the week, we talked about a petition for no noon kickoffs, is what's your favorite kickoff time? No matter who you're a fan of. We know the Gamecock, our friends down there in Columbia, they love some 7 p.m. They're used to the 7 p.m. Us old school Clemson guys that remember the 1 o'clock kickoff days. And it's amazing how the 12 o'clock kickoffs are so bad, but we did 1 o'clock kick. That one more hour can make a world of difference. But
everything's dictated by television now. I mean, there are no 1 o'clock kickoffs because
that's correct.
It's going to be 12, 3:30, 7, or on a different network. ACC's doing like 2, 5, and 8 or something crazy like that, or 12:30, 4:30, and whatever.
Right. But tell us, fans out there, what your favorite kickoff time is, and you can tell us what team you are a fan of. So we didn't have a guest, but we had a great time. Bailey, anything else to add for the fans this week?
No, just please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We do this every week, and hey, this is something we do, so we appreciate you being with us.
We do. And one thing we did different, we did live last week for the first time. This time we set a time, and I don't know, we'll see how that time works out. I mean, 60 minutes is on. I mean, who wants to watch 60 minutes? You might as well get on here and watch the fun fans.
Well, next week we'll probably go pre-Super Bowl, don't you think?
Yeah, next week's going to be pre-Super Bowl. That's going to be something a little special, a little different. It could be recorded depending on our schedule. And I got these new – and once I get finished with all this new stuff, I'll quit talking about it. But I'm just way too – I love this stuff. So now I got a new graphic. You can find us. There's our Twitter handles. We're at Fun Fans Podcast on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and on Facebook. Just search our names, James Dillard, Bailey Jackson, and you can find us on all those forms of social media. Like Bailey said, subscribe, like, share, and we appreciate everyone being on here, and I will work harder to make sure we get our guests, and I'll tell our guests that when we get them lined up to stay away from Myrtle Beach. So hopefully we won't have those problems in the future. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Hey, we should do Super Bowl. We should do like Peyton and Eli Manning. We should sit on here and do the game.
Hey, but I'm down.
I'm telling you, we wouldn't have very many viewers for that.
You never know.
Yeah, well, don't forget, next week we'll be looking for the best Super Bowl commercials.
That's what we should do. We'll come up with that. I'll tell you what, we're gonna work on some stuff, and when we put it out there, the fans will be excited about whatever we do. So on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, J Thrill Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson,
we out of here till next week.
Thanks for
See
watching.
you later.